Well, good morning, and welcome to another episode of the Water from the Rock podcast. With me, as always, is my dad, Pastor Tim Robbins,
How do y'all?
which is my cola to my coffee.
There
There you go. Coca-Cola to my
Coke.
coffee.
Yeah, say Coke, yeah.
There you go, because I know you're not a Pepsi fan. You don't
Nah,
like Pepsi. You will drink Mountain Dew,
I,
but you don't drink Pepsi.
I drank Pepsi yesterday, actually. So
Really?
I'll drink Pepsi. I just like Coke
Sacrilege.
way better, yeah. So,
Sacrilege, Dad. How dare you? I won't lie to you, Dad. I like the Pepsi Zero better than I do the Coke Zero. But if I'm going to drink a straight cola, I want to drink a Coke.
yeah, I've always been more of a Coke person than I am Pepsi by any means. Amy's always liked Pepsi and stuff, but
Yeah.
I like Coke way better. But I drank an actual real Pepsi twice yesterday, or Wednesday and Thursday or something like that. I can't remember what days. So
My Lord.
yeah, I haven't had a sugared soda in forever. Well, outside like an orange or something, or
Yeah.
occasional Mountain Dew or something. But I haven't had a sugared Coke or a cola in forever. So, but
Really?
yeah, but I'm trying to push as much calories as possible because I can't seem to keep up.
Well,
And
you got to do that. I mean, you've
yeah,
dropped a ridiculous amount. I sent your picture to Thomas.
uh huh,
You know Thomas lives in Tennessee now.
right, yeah.
And he sent back, whoa, what happened? I said, cancer, man.
I lost 60 pounds before I even went and found out I had cancer. So
That's what I told him. I said he had a real desire to lose weight this year and this last year, and he doubled down and poisoned himself with cancer. And,
yeah, there you go.
yeah.
So yeah,
I told him he lost 60 pounds in by January or mid-February, rather.
no,
And then
it's
by...
30. No.
Oh, I thought you were up to 60
I
at that
didn't lose
point.
60 until like June, so
Mm.
I was at 60.
And you've dropped another 60 or 70 with
About 60, yeah. So.
yeah,
Yep.
cancer.
Yep. So.
Either way, you're looking you're looking firm and fit, right?
I'm firm, flabby, and I got lots of loose stuff.
You say you got some extra skin, but
I got lots of wrinkles now. So
the good news is, Dad, is if you can fly now, because if the plane came apart midair, you could
that's
just
right.
glide
Just
down.
spread it out, be like one of those flying squirrels.
Exactly, you
So,
could just glide down like a flying
I
squirrel.
don't need a bodysuit. Got my own, and that's right. So that's
You
for sure.
gotta look at the positives, Dad.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Got to see the positive in it.
exactly. But anyway, guys, this is going to be the last podcast with my dad, Pastor Tim Robbins, for a few weeks. He's been cleared for his surgery, and we're gonna talk about that here in just a minute. But man, Dad, it's weird. We've gone almost a year without missing a week, and then here we are. We're gonna miss you for a few weeks, if not a month.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how long it'll take. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, I might be able to do it at the house. You might
Absolutely.
have to come over and do it at the house because if I'm able to sit there and talk, I can do a podcast, surely, right?
Sure.
So, but yeah, got a heart cath done last Monday, and let's see, what's today? Friday, so got a heart cath done on Monday, and I was only back there about 10 minutes. Found out that my heart wasn't a problem. Had the nuclear stress test done, and they found a possible blockage, and so I had to go in and have that checked. Had the PET scan done, and that came back. They didn't see anything on that, so they said that didn't see any advancement. The spot that was on my liver that they saw the first time,
Mm-hmm.
that the Iowa City, they seemed like they were kind of concerned that was cancer, whereas the oncologist, they were like, no, it's not cancer, and because it glowed like cancer. And the first place that this kind of cancer spreads to is the liver. And it's very aggressive. It goes liver, then the lungs, then the brain, and that's when you die. And anyway, and so they thought it was already at the liver, and anyway, and because it's an aggressive cancer, if I'd have waited another couple of months, it probably would have been in my liver. And anyway, and so whenever they had that on there, but they looked at that and they said no, it wasn't. So they sent it to a panel of all these expert oncologists who meet together and review cases. And my case was one of those special cases that went before them, and these big minds got together, and they all agreed that they didn't think it was cancer. And so I never got treated for it, nothing. And then whenever I got the PET scan done in Iowa City, the first thing that she said she checked to see is look at my liver. And she goes, and there was not a spot on there at all. And the thing about the PET scan is right now, even though I've been treated, it still glows with cancer. And although my tumor shrunk and stuff like that, it'll still glow. So any place I had cancer before still glows, even though it's been treated and it's contained and all those things. My liver never lit up in one spot on it at all.
I
So
wonder what it was then.
either an issue with the camera, which is what one doctor thought, or maybe like a fatty spot, an overactive spot.
Like a fatty liver spot?
Well, I don't have fatty liver, but I'm just saying like just an
Sure.
overactive spot, like fat, whatever there.
I might have to figure out what fatty liver is because I've always wondered what
My
that
mom
is.
has one, so yeah, it's well, there's a lot to it, but anyway, but yeah, it's just basically where the fat starts to kind of get into the liver there, and it's a problem. But
Hmm.
anyway, though, but yeah, so it's just praise the Lord for that. So good news on that. Went in for the heart
Absolutely.
cath done on Monday, and was back there only about 10 minutes, and the doctor's like, "We're all good," and my heart scored out really good, and the score test that they do or whatever on the heart cath. So never had to have a stent put in or nothing.
Wow.
And because if I'd had a stent, then I would have prolonged my surgery by about 30 days. And so no stent, no nothing. So today's Friday, surgery's on Tuesday. So
So, a couple questions in there. Number one, if there was a blockage or a possible blockage, was that just because the way the camera took the picture and like that, or was it you have a heart defect,
oh
like a
well,
weird shaped
if
heart?
they said it was fixed, and which I preached Wednesday night, my heart being
Hmm.
fixed. Miss Kim said, she goes, "Why didn't you say that about your heart being fixed instead of being reversible?"
Yeah,
I said, "I didn't think about that." I said, "You should have said something while I was preaching." And,
such a great analogy.
yeah, I know. I never thought about it. She goes, "I just kept waiting for you to say that, but you never did." And I'm like, "No, I never thought about it, to be honest with you." But anyway, though, they said it was they fixed, and I'm not sure what all it meant, but basically, the cardiologist down in Iowa City said, by seeing that, she goes, "There's a possibility you may not need a stent." And then she goes, "If it said reversible, I'd say you're getting one," which I guess means it's fixable or something.
Yeah, reversible
But
probably means there's a
but
blockage.
from what I gather is what they were telling me is it probably was just a camera issue,
Really?
which that happens occasionally. So
Well, it happens to you twice then, I guess.
yeah,
Your liver and your
so,
thing. So, another question I had was if it had spread to your liver, is that considered stage 4 then? Because it got to another
yeah,
major organ?
yep.
Okay.
So
And is that I'm gonna admit I don't know much about the body and that kind of stuff. I know the liver has lobes. If it was just barely starting to spread in the liver, can they cut that lobe out, or do
they
they?
can cut up like half your liver out of you, but there's a possibility if it was just in my liver, it could have been cut out.
Okay,
But
so it's kind of
there's
like
a
cheese.
yeah. But once it's kind of in your liver, it's kind of like in your liver forever,
Mm,
And
gotcha. Once that those cells start to circulate,
yeah,
yeah.
it's and once it gets in the lymphatic system and stuff like that, those are a lot bigger battles then because now you gotta battle. You can't just go cut it out and be done. Like with me, they're gonna cut it out and be done. And as long as it didn't spread that they weren't aware of, then I'm not gonna get cancer again. If it spread where they weren't aware of, that'll show back up eventually.
Yeah,
And so I'll have to go back for tests to make sure, and
sure.
I'll have to get scans done regularly, biopsies, whatever they're going to do after getting home. But anyway, though, so yeah, it'll be a major deal. And
But you know what though? Hillbilly bypass, right?
yeah, that's right.
Oh, you're I'm assuming you're gonna get rid of your hiatal hernia and your achalasia because they're removing
Yeah,
your
they're
part
going
of
to
your
cut that all
esophagus.
out. It's
Yeah.
all gone. I don't have a hernia, and I
Oh, I
don't
thought you
even.
did.
I have achalasia, but I have Barrett's esophagus, and that's what
Oh, that's
caused all
right.
this. And so, which I didn't know I had, and they didn't know I had, and they thought probably I had that, and probably had a hiatal hernia that's causing it. Turn out it wasn't a hiatal hernia; it was a tumor. And
So that Barrett's esophagus, is that where all the food just kind of sits in your chest and doesn't go to your
no,
stomach?
well, what it is where the esophagus loses its strength, and then it kind of flexes to where like it'll expand, and which is achalasia, where it'll kind of create these pockets or whatever and expand,
So I'm
and
picturing a trash bag that has the
achalasia.
drawstring on it, and the drawstring ain't pulled all the way. Is that right?
Yeah, well, okay, so your esophagus has muscles that push your food down.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you get Barrett's esophagus, those muscles kind of fail.
Mm.
It's like they become so weak they can't push the food down or whatever. Achalasia is where it kind of creates a pocket for it to kind of sit.
Oh,
Whereas with
okay.
me, I had that kind of in a weird way because I had a tumor pressed all the way over. So my throat would stretch to the side to allow the food to pass around it to get
Oh,
into my stomach. So that's why it would catch and I would throw up. And then eventually the throat would relax enough to where the food could kind of pass around. And that's why I had to eat such small portions. That's why every time I drink or eat, I'd throw up
gotcha.
because that tumor is pressed all the way over it. He said it was kind of like, he said the way that my tumors were shaped, it was almost like a like an arrow or it's round, but it's like it was pushed over like an arrow pushed all. It was from one side of the wall of the esophagus all the way over against the other side. So the
Jeez.
esophagus would have to stretch to the side, and that sphincter was completely shot. It didn't exist anymore. That's why the acid was just running up and down my throat. And to be honest with you, I really didn't think I had that big of an acid issue. I mean, I would get acid once in a while, but nothing like. I mean, I hear my dad talk about things. I hear other people talk about things. Like, man, you got acid way better, not way worse than I do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would get it. And I was just like, I'll go get Tums. I'll be all right. Take a Rolaids or something, and I'd be okay. And I never really had that much of an issue. And then just out of nowhere, that all just kind of blew up. And so,
That's crazy.
yeah. And so, yeah, it was crazy. But anyway, but praise the Lord, though, with
But you're also on like prescription strength and
I
acid
am
now.
now, yeah, but that's a little late, So,
Yeah.
and should have been on that about a year or two ago. So,
Yeah, I've been taking that Prilosec. My dad bought me a bunch of Prilosec after he got his cancer diagnosis. He bought me and my sister a bunch of Prilosec because we were both really bad about our acid
and
reflux.
Levi too, yeah.
Yeah, and I just ran out the other day,
Good.
and but I changed up my diet a lot, where I removed a lot of salt and acids,
Yeah.
and so I'm trying to see if that helps. I haven't had it in about 4 days.
Yeah, if you need to go get a prescription water, but don't take the calcium base because then it'll mess with you. You can have it every day as long as it's small amounts, but if you get too much of it, it'll start messing with your kidneys and stuff.
And I've had kidney stones because I ate Rolaids like it's candy.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I think you can only have one a day on an average or something like that. But
And I was eating about 12 a day.
yeah, that's why you have kidney stones and stuff. But
Yeah.
if you take that magnesium based or whatever, you can take that every day. So you want to do something like a milk of magnesia or something like
Gaviscon.
Gaviscon, stuff like that, and take. I'm supposed to have that 3 times a day. I didn't even realize I was supposed to be taking it 3 times a day.
Well, shoot, that's what I was doing. Is I would
Taking
take
about
the
3 times in the last month, and so
before I changed up my diet a little bit, try to eliminate salts or reduce salts and try to eliminate a lot more acids. I was taking Prilosec in the morning and drinking Gaviscon before I went to bed.
yeah. I think they told me that they wanted me doing it with every meal.
Wow.
Which I don't eat 3 meals a day anyway. I mean, that's just, I graze these days. I mean, to be honest with you, they're like, oh, your whole diet's going to change. I'm like, it's been changed for months. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you can't have big meals anymore. I haven't had big meals since like January, February. I think February was the last time I had a real big meal that I actually ate. Like, when you bought all those steaks, for me to go on that carnivore diet with you. I remember, they were those thin little ribeyes or whatever. I ate 2 of those. And because that's all I would eat,
Yeah.
And I remember it was early February, I ate 2 of those, and I threw about half that up, trying to eat it, and then I would throw it up and eat it some more, and then throw more up. It just gets stuck. It wasn't like you're getting sick; it's just stuck. It doesn't go actually down in your stomach; it sticks in your throat.
That's crazy.
And anyway, and so but then it would go away, and I would have an issue and stuff like that, and then March it was like starting to happen pretty much every day, and like by April or whatever, it was like every time I ate. Like, oh, something's got to be done here. And they called me, my doctor called me and said, hey, you need your checkup. They scheduled it for June, and this was like early May or whatever. So I was going to be about 5 weeks out, and I was like, I'll just wait and mention it to him then. I should have done it sooner, but, I just assumed, based on everybody I talked to, it's hiatal hernia and all those things. And there's nothing really you could do about that. You don't really want to do the surgery on that unless you had to, because it's so bad. And things like that, and to be honest with you, the biggest thing that they tell you is to lose weight. That's the most important thing to do, which was what I was trying to do. So, and I was doing pretty good on that. I was down like probably about 50 pounds at that time, and stuff. So I went to the doctor in June. I remember got on the scale, and I remember it being 60 pounds to the exact, and maybe 61 or whatever. But I remember it being 60. I crossed the 60 threshold. I remember I jumped off the scale excited, and then went in there, and she's like, "All right, we'll refer you to an gastroenterologist," and I figured as much. And so that was 3 weeks later. They still hadn't called me with appointments. I called and said, "Hey, I'm still having these issues." They're like, "Oh yeah. They tend to run slow." So I got a call like the next day and saying you got to be here, and that was in July, and I went to see them right before Vacation Bible School, the Friday before Vacation Bible School, and that carnival that Sunday. And they wanted me to come in on that Monday, which is the day of Vacation Bible School, to do the endoscopy.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, we got VBS going on. I don't really want to do it because VBS is on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And they said, all right, can you do that Friday? And I said, sure. And that was August the 2nd. And that's whenever he came. I wasn't even there a few minutes. He came out and said, you got a tumor. He said, that's cancer.
I remember before you went in there, you're like, you want to hear something crazy and scary? So what's that? And you said, They have my gastroenterologist thing scheduled through what's the oncology, and I'm like, that's weird. You're like, yeah, that's weird because I don't have cancer.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, yeah,
What
that's
was
kind
I
of
wrong?
strange.
What was I wrong? Yeah. And
Yeah, it makes me
so,
nervous.
yeah.
And
But yeah, and praise the Lord though, it's been spiritually the best thing that's ever happened to me outside being saved,
mhm.
and but it's been quite a whirlwind tour and stuff, and God means it for good, and there's no ill from the table of God, and right now. There's a lot of big hurdles yet to overcome. We've overcome a lot of hurdles already, but we still got some more big ones to overcome. The surgery is going to be massive. I'm supposed to be off work 6 to 8 weeks, 3 months if I do any heavy lifting, which I don't know what they consider heavy lifting, if grandchildren are heavy lifting or not. But anyway,
Well, the way Cyrus says, yeah,
oh yeah, exactly.
that
Cyrus
boy.
weighs almost as much as the girl does, as Hazel does, and but
Well, shoot, I was looking at him this morning. He had fallen asleep on my lap. He's gonna be 10 months here in a week,
right.
and he was stretched all the way across my lap, head hanging off one side. His feet were past my feet because I had my leg crossed. His feet were past my feet, and he's hanging off the other end. I'm like, shoot, man.
That boy's gonna be a big old boy.
He
So.
is.
He'll be stout too. Be cut real well. Be
I hope so.
probably pretty broad shouldered. So things like that. So, but
Get him to play some pro sports, and
yeah,
that'll be my retirement.
be a cash cow. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Just keep a good relationship with him so he feels obligated to give you money.
Yeah.
So,
I'll fly out there for his games on Sundays and host church Sunday morning in the locker room, and
yeah.
there you go. You're not missing church.
That's right. So there's a lot of guys that do a lot of that stuff, though. There's guys that hold Bible services. But they do it for race car drivers too.
Sure,
And,
I believe that.
But anyway, though, but yeah, you should belong to a part of a local church, but
Absolutely.
not so much chapel meetings and stuff like that. But yeah, they do that, but praise the Lord, though it's been quite the experience, and the Lord's been really gracious. So I'll be off work for a little while, and that I'm gonna be on a feeding tube. Won't be able to eat for 21 days. No eating or drinking, nothing for 21 days. They'll have to do my pills through the feeding tube, or my medicine. They'll do all that, and then the feeding tube goes actually into my intestine, then go into my stomach, which I don't have a stomach anymore anyway. But I won't have one anymore, and so they'll go in through the feeding tube, going through the intestine, and then from there. I'll be on drainage tubes and everything else for a week or better, and I'll be in the hospital 5 to 7 days, maybe 10. And so they originally said 7 to 10, but now they're saying 5 to 7. They're supposed to cut my hernia out too. My hernia. Did I let you feel that the other day?
Yeah, you did. Look, it felt like a softball in there.
Yeah, it's like the size of a softball.
gross.
So yeah, so
Did you know it was that big moving forward, or as you
I
lost
had a
weight,
feeling it was pretty big, but so
But as you moved forward and your stomach shrank around it, and all your deposits shrank around it, all of a sudden it stuck out like a rock underwater.
look like I got a unicorn growing. So
That thing's nasty, man.
yeah, it's a big old thing.
Just want
So.
to punch it, knock it back in, just
Yeah, push back in. When that lady came back from Iowa City, and she pulled up the PET scan, and the thing about it is when she pulled up the PET scan there and stuff, she said that she goes, "What is that?" She goes, "At first I saw that." She goes, "I thought, what is that?" And then she goes, "I realized that's a hernia." And she goes, "That's massive." And I said, "Yeah." She goes, "I hadn't seen a big one or that one that big in a while." And I was like, "Yeah, I didn't think it was that big either. I thought it was maybe the size of like, a soda cap or something like that. Maybe a little bigger, maybe the size of like a, I don't know, size of, maybe a golf ball or something, or
Sure.
something." And cork ball or something, and it's more like a softball, and so definitely big. It's bigger as a big orange, that's for sure. That's all I can think of. It feels
Looks
like
like
an
someone
orange.
threw a football through your body and it got lodged in
Yeah.
your abdominal wall.
Yeah, I must. But yeah. Anyway, so they're supposed to cut that out, which, from what I gather, that's probably gonna be more painful than the actual other surgery. So, but I talked to the lady yesterday because they called to do the. I've talked to people from Iowa City every day for. Today's the first day I haven't talked to anybody yet, but it's still early. And so, speaking of
Say, your phone just vibrated.
yeah, exactly. But anyway, though, I talk to them every day, and I talked to the lady yesterday, and she goes, "Yeah, we got supposed to put a block in there to help remove a lot of the pain of that." I said, good. I appreciate that. So she goes, yeah. She goes, I'm looking at your case notes and stuff. So I'm gonna be under the table for 6 to 8 hours when I gather, and
On the table.
on the table
Under the knife.
under the knife, over the brook and
Through the woods.
through the woods. Yeah, to grandmother's house we go. So
Yeah.
but anyway, and I'm not really sure. I always get all the analogies mixed up. I don't know if it's water over the bridge and under the bridge, or I don't know,
Over the dam, under the bridge.
That's what it is.
Yep.
Yeah. So over the dam and
If,
under the bridge. I gotta remember that.
if your water's under the dam or over the bridge, you got a problem.
You got problems. Anyway, I always get them all mixed up. I forget what it is. I don't know. So, but I was supposed to, be under the knife and on the table for 6 to 8 hours or so, and then they said that I'll look like when I come out. They said I'll have so many wires and tubes coming out of me. I look like I'm dying, and so
Ooh,
said that not to let anybody back there that'll be spooked by that. They said.
I ain't gonna spook me.
Look, yeah. So I don't think anybody in my family, maybe my grandchildren or something.
Say it'll break my heart, but it won't spook me.
Nothing to worry about.
No.
They're putting an epidural line. I said they're gonna put an epidural line in my back.
You are giving birth.
Yeah. So, but they said it'll block at the top instead of the bottom, like birth.
Nice.
So yeah. So, and that'll stay in me the whole time I'm in the hospital. I'll take it out eventually.
Yep.
So anyway, the next day I got to get up and walk. I don't walk that day though. They said, and won't walk that day. The next day I got to be up and walking.
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
gonna be
Can't
excruciating.
get pneumonia. So sleep at a 45-degree angle. So
That'll be the way it is for the rest of your life, though.
they said 30 degrees once I get through all this, and
Ooh, big drop there.
which I sleep at probably about a 45-degree angle now. So
Hmm.
because I asked them to show me what 30 degrees was when I was at the hospital, and I don't sleep that low at all. No.
You haven't for years.
No, I slept on a wedge pillow with about 4 more pillows on top of that, for till we got the adjustable bed, and now I sleep upright, and not upright, but I sleep probably a good 45 degrees or better.
I was gonna ask you too about that bed. Do you sleep in the 0G version of the bed where you kick up your feet too, and like it's like you?
I do a lot. Yeah,
comfortable?
for to me it is, but I can't stay like that forever. I can't lay in the same spot for very long. I like to sleep on my side a little bit, so I'll put a couple of pillows like up against my side, and I'll lay on my side where they kind of like lay on my back on some kind of like 3/4 of an angle.
Yeah,
instead
so
of
you're just
straight
kind
up
of
on-
tilted,
Yeah, instead of straight up on my side, I'm kind of like on my side and my back at the same time.
almost kind of leaning.
Yeah,
Will you be able to do that after surgery?
probably once I get kind of healed
Done.
up,
Yeah.
once those tubes and stuff get out of you, so because I have 2 tubes at my sides draining. I have one in my mouth, one out my throat, and
Ooh.
I was looking at all the pictures of it. It's pretty invasive in them. So
Yeah, you're the kind of person who you got to know. So are you gonna watch the surgery? Like, have you watched the surgery online yet?
no, I haven't. No, I haven't done that. Yeah, I
I
want to.
I
so.
googled it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Is it pretty bad?
I couldn't find a video of like a medical
Actually,
video,
okay.
but I've seen pictures.
Yeah.
It's nasty.
No, thanks.
But
That's
you know what
encouraging.
though? I watched a quadruple bypass one time online, so I mean it's not too bad.
Well, I'm just saying they said similar to open heart surgery, so
Yeah, so I
it's
mean, it's-
invasive. So
It's similar. But nah, I was thinking about this, Dad. There's a guy I know over in Mason City, and for $100, he works at the airport.
Uh-huh.
For $100, he'll take you up in one of those 2-seater Cessnas
Uh huh.
and let you fly for half an hour.
Really?
So I think once you're done getting all sutured up and stuff like
Yeah.
that, I'll put you in one of those for
Oh,
$100.
for $100, I'd do it.
Yeah. Besides that, your biggest fear of flying is not be the one driving. So
Oh,
this will
I
take
don't
care of
mind
the
to
problem.
fly as long as I'm the one in charge.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Is
so
if you're
I'll
the one
fly
driving,
anywhere then, So yeah.
I'll put you up in the sky for half an hour and let you
Yeah,
fly and let you
absolutely.
drive.
You don't need to pay for it though. So
$100 ain't nothing.
yeah.
Shoot, you can't go to the grocery store and the gas station and get away without spending $200 anymore.
Oh golly. Stop and fill up the tank of gas and then go in and buy something to eat or whatever. You'd be out of that thing in $70-$80,
I
So,
know it. I almost got to start selling my blood just to pay the light bill.
boy, ain't that the truth. And yeah, it's crazy prices.
It's a weird
but-
world.
Yep. But,
Hoping the economy rebounds here soon, though.
yeah, I think with Trump getting in office, we'll probably see a rebound in the economy for sure. So
I'm hoping so. Well, anyway, though, Dad, I know we've spent a good time talking about your cancer stuff like that. We're at about 25 minutes, and usually try to keep these to about half an hour. And last, I don't know, probably 12, we've failed out. We've done 45 minutes, an hour. So I know that you've got to leave in 15 minutes to go somewhere. So before we get going, is there anything? Because this is gonna be the last time you're gonna be on the podcast for a while. Is there anything you want to share from the Lord, or any sort of message that you want to share? I know you talked a lot about some really cool stuff in Bible. I didn't know if you'd want to bring that up or if you had something else.
Um, I don't know if I have any one last thing to share. I mean, like I said, we're probably going to do podcasts once I get home and stuff like
So
that.
this ain't your
So,
last word. Just a few weeks we won't see you.
yeah, and they say, I know that, like we've talked about in chapel this morning or whatever, David said there in Psalm 16, he said, he realized the Lord wouldn't leave his soul in hell, which is basically the grave or death, and suffering. And he said, my heart's set upon the Lord. And the word set there literally means to resemble the Lord. So he was saying is my heart resembles the Lord. So God allows you to go through suffering and difficulty, allows you to go through death and feel like you're in hell and feel like, you're going through these just like it's just traumatic times at times, and whether it's cancer or whatever it may be. But he does that, but David was smart enough to know that God pulls him out of it every so often, and he puts him back in and pulls him out and puts him back in until he's able to complete the work. But what he's doing is he's bringing to a place where his heart resembles the Lord. And, if you were to look in the spiritual world, what God is saying is when the devil looks at your heart, he wants to confuse it with my heart, where it resembles it so much that it looks like my heart. And one of the things I asked the student, I said, what do you think God's heart looks like? And obviously everybody, first thing they say is God is love, so therefore the heart of God is going to be full of love, and that's so true. And love of people, love of righteousness, love of truth, love of goodness, and love of compassion and kindness, and justice and fairness and equity and things of that nature. So when your heart starts to resemble the Lord, it will start to love people. It will start to love righteousness and truth. It won't, we can love. I've met people that love God, but they're as carnal as the days are long. I mean, their hearts don't resemble God. I mean, they love God and they love people or whatever. Well, they say they love God and they say they love people, but they don't love righteousness. They don't love truth. They don't love justice. I've met people who love truth and righteousness but don't love people. So their hearts don't resemble God either. But when your heart starts to really resemble God, then it starts to really love righteousness too. It loves truth. It loves goodness. It loves freedom in God. It loves the ways of God, the things of God. It wants to be like God. And then I also said another thing about the heart of God is it's soft. And the heart of God is soft and tender. It's compassionate, obviously. And I use the sponge. When the sponge is empty, when it doesn't have anything in it, it's dry and brittle and hard. A lot of people today have a hard heart. They have a bitter heart. So when God fills you up when you fill up the sponge with water, then it becomes soft and moldable. It's squishy, it's soft, it's tender. And so what God does is he comes and he fills you up with his presence, and as you soak in his presence, soak him up, then you become soft and pliable. And so the more you're filled with God, the more softer you are. So that when the devil looks, he sees that you're filled with God. So he sees that, man, that's God. That's not me. And that's not that person, And then the third thing I said about the heart of the Lord is it's steadfast. It's unmovable. Now, we just said you're supposed to be soft and movable, but now we're saying unmovable, but unmovable on truth and righteousness, unmovable about conviction. This is what I believe. This is where I stand, And Martin Luther walked in and nailed his 95 Thesis to the door there, and what was it, Wittenberg or what it was?
Worms.
No, it was Wittenberg or what it was. But anyway, anyway there, and he said, "This is here I stand," And I can't think of the name. It's Witten or Wiven or Wiffen, something or other.
Look it up real quick.
Anyway, but this is here I stand, and I said there are things in my life that I am unmovable about, but there's still some areas of my life that I are still kind of movable about, and carnal things and pleasure things or world things or angry things, bitter things that we can be movable about, and stuff. And the last thing I said about his heart is that his heart's full of life, and we could go on and on and on, but those are the four things that I thought. So when your heart starts to really be set on the Lord, what it means is resemble the Lord. And your heart will be full of his life. It'll be full of his truth. You'll be unmovable about his truth. You'll be movable about your convictions, what the Bible says. And be soft and tender towards God and moldable. and changeable, and it'll be full of, and it'll be full of love and compassion and full of truth and love for truth and mercy and that. So anyway, so let your heart be set upon the Lord, there in Psalm 16 and that. So did you look it up?
I did. You were right. It was Wittenberg.
That's what I thought. So, and,
Why did I think Worms? Was he the priest in Worms? I can't remember.
I don't know. I can't remember, to be honest with you. But yeah, so any which way though. So, that's one of the things that's most important to a believer is the heart be set upon the right things. A lot of people set their hearts, they resemble the world. They resemble carnal. They resemble the flesh. They resemble, sinfulness. They resemble vengeance. They resemble, bitterness. They resemble, basically things that the devil wants them to resemble. They resemble, some people that are addicted to drugs or alcohol. They resemble, pleasure. Their hearts resemble the pursuit of relief or, freedom or, escape or bitterness or whatever it may be that's causing them to be addicted. People that are, sex addicts or whatever it may be, struggling with pornography, things of that nature. People that are, covetous and greedy. Then when they're that away, is their hearts resembling something that's carnal and not spiritual. And so God will put you in the oven, man. He'll put you in the place of death over and over and over, but he won't leave you there. But he'll put you there and over and over and over until your heart starts to really resemble his heart. And that's what he's trying to do. Yeah, so that's just the basic thought that we had today. So
I think it's good because, like you said, all of Christianity, as well as most of life, is hung on the fundamentals. So it's all about remembering the base things.
Yeah, it's got to resemble it. You want the devil, when he looks at you, he sees God. He's not looking at you physically so much as seeing God. He wants him to look at your heart and see God.
Absolutely.
That's most important. So
absolutely,
it's spiritual. So
well, Dad, I thank you for coming in today, and I'm gonna miss hanging out with you for a couple weeks.
Yep, absolutely.
I miss it. So
no, hopefully we'll be able to get back on it pretty soon.
Yeah, hopefully I'll have to have a couple guest spots, then we should be good to go. And still not sure what we're gonna talk about whenever I have guests on, but we'll figure it out. And well, anyway, guys, thank you for tuning into the Water from the Rock podcast today. Hopefully it's been a blessing to you. And if you want to send Pastor a word of encouragement, if you want us to have, if you have questions you want us to cover, if you need help at all, feel free to reach out to us. You could do that through bytheblood.org, through the app Water from the Rock, or you can just comment on this podcast. And but anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for me today. Anything you want to say last day before we head out?
No, I just thank y'all for your prayers and thanks for your well wishes and thanks for carrying me in prayer and even though we're kind of at the end of this particular part, the surgery is a lot to recover. It's going to, like I said, take a couple of months to recover. They said probably 3 months before I'd be back to kind of what they would consider normal. And they said could be longer, could be up to 6 months or whatever before you'd be back to what they consider normal. So that would put me almost to June by the time it's all done. And that, but so I appreciate that. And then I have to go through immunotherapy treatment for the next year. So I'll be doing that every week or every 2 weeks probably. And so depending on how pathology comes back after the surgery. So so just keep me in your prayers for that, and keep me in your prayers on Tuesday on Tuesday the 14th for the surgery. So
we certainly will. It's gonna be a bear.
Yeah, thank you for everything, and I'm praying Godspeed, and God be with everyone, and be with y'all, and thank you.
I love you, Dad.
I love you too, buddy. I'm sure I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I'm proud of you too, Dad.
So thank you.
Anyway, guys, remember the Lord loves you. Have a great day.